Another day, another set of winning slips. 6 bets, 6 wins. That is the level we aim for. We are not here to sell hype. We are here to stay consistent. Our method is our edge, and we keep that in-house. Your job is simple. Follow the bets, trust the process, and stay disciplined. If you want more than just picks, our free Discord is open. Join the community, sharpen your thinking, and level up your football betting game. Subscribe, follow the next predictions, and watch the results speak for themselves. Today we've got another full set of football picks, and this one jumps across a lot of different leagues, which I actually like because it gives us different game states, different motivations, and different kinds of value. So this isn't one of those videos where every pick sounds the same. Every game has its own story, its own pressure, and its own reason why the line makes sense. And that's the key for today. Not just reading picks off a screen, but understanding what kind of match each one is. Some of these are promotion chasing or top half games, some are pressure games near the bottom, some are straight up quality gaps, and one of them is a massive European knockout tie where the tempo should be high from minute 1. So let's go game by game, league by league, and break down exactly why these bets stand out. And as always, if you want these plays live and you want the daily updates as they happen, make sure you're locked in with the community, because that's where the real-time movement is. Lanus vs Platense, bet 1x plus Lanus team over 0.5 goals. League, Argentine Liga Profesional de Fútbol, Apertura. We start in Argentina, in the Liga Profesional Apertura, with Lanus against Platense. This is the kind of spot I like because it gives you a team that is still sitting in a respectable position in the table, at home, against an opponent that's competitive but not exactly dominant. Lanus are sitting 4th in the Apertura standings with 18 points from 11 matches, while Platense are 10th on 14 points. On top of that, the recent head-to-head edge leans Lanus. FotMob lists the current record at 3 Lanus wins, 1 Platense win, and 4 draws, and ESPN shows Lanus won the last home meeting 2-1 in September 2025 after the March 2025 meeting finished 0-0. That's why the bet builder here makes sense instead of going too wild. 1x protects you against the draw. And then Lanus over 0.5 team goals says, basically, if they're going to avoid defeat at home in this kind of table position, they should at least be able to score once. And that feels reasonable, especially when you remember this is not asking Lanus to dominate the game or run up a score. It's just asking them to do the basic home team job in a fixture where they've already shown they can edge Platense. It's a controlled angle, not a fantasy angle. You're backing stability, home comfort, and the fact that Lanus usually don't need a crazy game to cover this kind of line. What I also like here is the psychology of the match. Platense are close enough in the table that they're not walking in scared, which actually helps the game breathe a little. And when a game breathes, the better home side usually finds at least one moment. That one goal is all we need from Lanus. So this isn't a pick built on hype. It's built on position, matchup history, and a line that asks for something realistic instead of something heroic. Bet 2, accumulator leg 1, Atletico Nacional vs Cucuta Deportivo. Bet over 1.5 goals. League Colombian Primera A, Apertura. Now we move to Colombia, to the Primera A Apertura, and the first leg of the ACA is Atletico Nacional against Cucuta Deportivo, with over 1.5 goals. Straight away, this game brings a strong table contrast. SofaScore has Atletico Nacional 1st and Cucuta 16th, and FotMob shows Nacional coming in with 11 goals in their last 5 matches, while Cucuta have scored 5 in their last 5. ESPN also shows Nacional beat Cucuta 1-0 and 3-0 in their 2025 Cup meetings, and FotMob notes Nacional are unbeaten in the last 5 head-to-heads. This is why I don't feel the need to force a winner market. The over 1.5 is cleaner. Nacional are good enough to threaten that line almost by themselves, but Cucuta don't need to be brilliant to help either. One strong home performance from the league leaders, and suddenly you're halfway there before the game settles. And if Cucuta contribute, even better. The angle is simple. This is a matchup between a side in first place with real attacking rhythm and an opponent that has already shown they can be opened up by this exact team. That's not boring info. That's exactly the kind of context that turns a basic goals line into a smart one. Leg 2. Eintracht Norderstedt vs 1, FC Phoenix Lubeck bet over 1.5 goals. League. Germany, Regionalliga Nord. The second leg takes us to Germany's Regionalliga Nord, where Eintracht Norderstedt host 1 FC Phoenix Lubeck. SofaScore has Norderstedt 15th and Phoenix Lubeck 8th, so this is not a dead game at all. There's enough between them in the table to create urgency, but not such a huge gap that one side just shuts the whole thing down. FOTMob also says Norderstedt have won the previous 3 meetings against Phoenix Lubeck, while Norderstedt have scored 7 goals in their last 5 matches. This is exactly the type of lower division European game where I like keeping it to a modest goal line. I'm not asking for fireworks. I'm asking for 2 goals in a matchup where the recent history has not been shy and where the home side clearly feels comfortable in the head-to-head. In leagues like the Regionalliga Nord, game states can shift quickly. One early goal completely changes the mood, and suddenly the second goal is there because the structure of the match breaks open. So when you pair this leg with the Nacional game, the accumulator doesn't feel forced. It feels like 2 matches where the number is low enough to let the football do the work. Bet 3. Huesca vs Cultural Leonesa. Bet over 1.5 goals. League Spain La Liga 2. Next up, we go to Spain's La Liga 2 with Huesca against Cultural Leonesa. And again, it's over 1.5 goals. This one is interesting because it's not a glamour matchup at all, but it has serious tension. SofaScore shows Huesca 20th and Cultural Leonesa 22nd, so we are talking about a genuine pressure game near the bottom of the table. ESPN also shows Huesca won the reverse fixture 2-0 in December 2025. On top of that, FOTMob's recent form for Huesca is rough. Loss to Valladolid, draw with Albacete, then losses against Malaga, Almeria, and Granada. Cultural Leonesa's form is also poor, with no wins in the last 5, just 2 goals scored and 13 conceded in that spell. That's why over 1.5 appeals here. People look at lower table Segunda games and automatically assume they'll be cagey and ugly. Sometimes they are, but sometimes the pressure makes them unstable, especially when both teams know the game matters too much to just sit in fear for 90 minutes. Huesca's recent run shows that their games are not exactly finishing 0-0 every week. And Cultural Leonesa's recent defensive numbers say they are conceding enough to give you a real opening. You've got stress, poor defensive form, and a reverse fixture that already landed this line by halftime. That combination is far more attractive than it looks at first glance. And from a voiceover point of view, this is one of those bets where you can sell the story honestly. This is a relegation zone game, not a sleepy mid-table game. The table says urgency, the recent scores say vulnerability, and the line says we only need 2 moments. In a game like this, that's a fair ask, not a stretch. Bet 4. Burgos CF vs AD Ceuta. Bet 1x plus Burgos over 0.5 team goals plus under 4.5 goals. League, Spain, La Liga 2. We stay in La Liga 2, but now the feel is completely different. Burgos CF against AD Ceuta. SofaScore has Burgos 5th and Ceuta 9th, so this is not a survival scrap anymore. This is a top-half game with playoff energy around it, and Burgos come in with serious defensive numbers. FOTMob says they've won 4 of their last 5, scored 8 goals, conceded 0 in that stretch, and they've kept the most clean sheets in the competition with 13. Ceuta, on the other hand, have scored 6 in their last 5, but FOTMob also flags that they've conceded the most penalties in the league. And ESPN shows Ceuta took the reverse meeting 1-0 in November 2025. That makes this bet builder very clean. 1x respects Burgos at home. Burgos over 0.5 team goals says the side in better form should at least contribute once. And under 4.5 is the discipline leg that stops you from asking for chaos in a match where Burgos have been winning with control, structure, and a very solid defensive floor. This is a really good example of building around the identity of a team instead of just stacking random markets together. Burgos don't need to turn this into a 4-3 game. The whole point is that they usually don't. I also like the revenge angle here without overdoing it. Ceuta already beat them earlier in the season, so Burgos are not walking into this game with 0 emotional edge. They know exactly what this opponent can do. But because Burgos have been so clean defensively lately, the smarter approach isn't to chase a huge scoreline. It's to say, at home, in this form, in this part of the table, Burgos should avoid defeat, score at least once, and keep the whole match under control. That's a grown man bet builder. B5. Chelsea women vs Arsenal women. Bet over 1.5 goals plus under 6.5 goals. League, UEFA Women's Champions League, quarterfinal second leg. And now for the biggest game of the lot. Chelsea women against Arsenal women in the UEFA Women's Champions League quarterfinal second leg at Stamford Bridge. UEFA's preview makes it clear what this is. Arsenal come into the second leg 3-1 up from the first game at the Emirates. That matters because it completely shapes the tempo. Chelsea cannot afford a passive night, and Arsenal are in the kind of form where they won't just sit there and hope. Arsenal smashed Tottenham 5-2 at the weekend, and The Guardian reported that result stretched them to 11 straight wins in all competitions. Chelsea, meanwhile, are coming off a wild 4-3 win over Aston Villa, a result Chelsea's own site called an exceptional comeback after going behind early. That's why this goals combo works. Over 1.5 fits a second leg where one team is chasing and the other team is absolutely dangerous enough to punish space. But under 6.5 keeps the ticket grounded in reality. You're not pretending this has to be 7-goal madness. You're saying this should be a proper elite-level game with enough quality and enough urgency to produce goals, but still remain inside a sensible ceiling. And the first leg already backed the idea that these attacks can hurt each other. Arsenal scored 3, Chelsea still found a big goal through Lauren James, and the whole tie stayed tense. What makes this one non-boring is the contrast in momentum. Arsenal look sharp, confident, and ruthless. Chelsea still have enormous talent, but their Villa game showed they can be opened up. So you're not betting this as if one side is going to shut the door from minute 1. You're betting it as a Champions League knockout match between two elite English teams with a scoreline that forces the tempo. That usually gives you moments. It usually gives you shots. And with names like these on the pitch, 2 goals is not an unreasonable target at all. So that's the full card. The reason I like this set is because every pick comes from a different match story. We're not recycling the same logic over and over. One is built on table position and home protection. One is built on attacking rhythm. One is built on relegation pressure. One is built on defensive structure. And one is built on knockout urgency at the top level. That's the kind of card I trust more because it's not 5 copies of the same pick. It's 5 different reads on 5 different environments. So if you're following along, lock in the card, track the game states, and pay attention to how these bets are actually being built. That's where the real edge is. And if you want this kind of breakdown every day, stay close, because the whole point of this channel is daily football predictions with actual reasoning behind them, not just random lines on a screen.